Simply irrational neuroticism. And those are the words Spirit gave me this morning as an acronym for another word, sin. I was really surprised, to be honest with you, to get a message about sin and what it means from Spirit's perspective as I am awakening and as I'm sure many others around the planet are awakening. Being raised as a fundamentalist Christian, I was extremely sin conscious, extremely aware that lots of things that I was doing or thinking or feeling were just simply not right. And that's really what neuroticism is. It's being insecure with your own feelings, especially your negative feelings, your negative desires, your negative emotions, your negative thoughts, not knowing what to do with them, and it leads to irrational behavior. It leads to behavior that you're trying to hide all the time. If not from yourself, because you're unwilling to admit to yourself how you actually feel, you hide from others because you think they're going to judge you for how you're feeling or what you're thinking or what you're doing in the secrecy of your own experience. And, you know, I laughed because in my meditation, I was pondering these things that Spirit was giving me since 4 o'clock this morning, and right now it's almost 6. And, you know, I find it laughable because I've gone through it all of my life. I've been a neurotic, and I remember my friend Bruce, who, that's Dr. Bruce Morgan, who was one of my early teachers to lead me out of fundamentalist viewpoints and the conservative mentality that I was that had been pushed upon me in my upbringing and my Christian background. And anyway, he was an amazing teacher, and one of his lectures was, "Hi, I'm Bruce, and I'm neurotic." And I think he delivered that. In fact, I'm pretty sure he delivered that in a fundamentalist church right here in Melbourne, Florida. The Tabernacle Church that Jamie Buckingham was the longtime pastor of and actually the founder of. And Jamie Buckingham, for those of you that don't know, was a Christian author. He died in the early 90s, I believe. But he wrote a lot of books, including ghostwriting, a lot of books for a lot of famous people, including Pat Robertson, I believe, Shout It from the Housetops, including Corrie ten Boom, The Hiding Place, and including Nicky Cruz, Run Baby Run. He was involved in an awful lot of writing. But anyway, Bruce was one of the, at one time, was one of the ministers in the Tabernacle Church. And he got in a lot of trouble one week because he quoted from a scripture from the Bible that told people what to do with their tithe. One of the tithes, there were actually several tithes in the Old Testament, and one of them, they were to take their tithe and they would go into the city and buy strong drink or wine or whatever your soul lusteth after. And yes, that's in the Bible. You can look it up. You may not believe me, but look it up in your concordance. Just look up strong drink or lusteth after. You'll find it. And needless to say, he did not win any brownie points in a fundamentalist evangelical Christian church, a charismatic church nonetheless, for using that scripture and bringing that to people when so many were involved in AA and NA and trying to get over their drug and alcohol problems. But people are, human beings in general, are a neurotic lot. Oh God, I can't believe you're having me talk about this. But anyway, this is what's coming through for me this morning. And again, I have no notes, really. But a neurotic is simply a person who doesn't know what to do with their negative emotions. They don't know what to do with these feelings, these thoughts, these habits, if you will, of behavior that are seen as not acceptable by society, or at least portions of society. And Spirit gave me an answer to what to do with your sin problem. And that is to tap into the Supercharged Identity Network. You'll notice that that's also an acronym for SIN. And what is this Supercharged Identity Network? Well, if you want to take it from a Christian perspective, it's putting on Christ, or living from the Christ within you. It's looking at the sin problem, your own simply irrational neuroticism, and owning it. Okay, yes, sometimes my behavior is neurotic. Sometimes my thoughts, oftentimes my thoughts are neurotic because I don't know what to do with them. I want to fix myself. And when you tap into this supercharged identity network, which runs on love energy, unconditional love energy, let me add, it becomes a whole different ballgame, because you say, hey, wait a minute. My identity is that I am eternal. I am infinite. I am connected to all that is. Yes, actually, I am all that is. It's all inside of me, inside of what I call my heart. That transformer that is able to take these negative things and transform them into positive things. Just because I choose to love myself as I am, which I'm understanding when I tap into this supercharged identity network of spirit. That's really who I am. That's really who I am. I am connected to God. I am connected to Jesus Christ, to Buddha, to Krishna, to Muhammad, to Lao Tzu, to all of the great mystics and saints and masters that have walked this planet in many cultures and many generations. I am connected to all of that. I'm not separate from it. You see, that's the whole thing that leads to this simply irrational neuroticism, is because we think we're separate from all of this. And I am that, the good stuff, I'm that. But I'm not this weak stuff, this poor stuff, this stuff that I don't like. I don't want to identify with that. Oh, but wait a minute. Then you're cutting yourself off from the experience that you've given to yourself as a gift to teach you how powerful you are as a creator. You actually have been able, as I have been, to create the illusion that we believe is the reality, and the illusion is that we are separate from life, or somehow not connected to part of life, when in fact we're connected to all of it. The negative as well as the positive, the dark as well as the light. This is what I mean by embracing the shadow. And it's the way home. It's the way home, folks. We're going to co-create a new world this year. You and I and millions of others are going to create a new world. We're going to change everything. We're going to turn it on its head this year, because we are going to tap in to the supercharged identity network, recognizing that we are not victims anymore, but creators. We are actually empowered to do what seemed like to the neurotic as impossible. And we're going to do it by unconditionally loving everyone, starting with ourselves. Starting with our own being. We're going to love ourselves. We're going to tap into that supercharged identity network, identifying ourselves with God, what we call God. And when we do, it's going to change us from the inside out. And all change comes from the inside out. It doesn't come from the outside in. Thank you for listening, and I trust you'll have a beautiful day. God bless you.